Welcome to the Eagle's Nest. This is your host, Jeff Porcaro, and today I have our guest, Kayson Winward. And Kayson, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what sports you play and what year you are in school.
My name's Kayson Winward. I'm a senior this year. I play baseball, and my position, I play outfield.
Okay. So this year's been kind of a tough year. We started out, had a few games. You guys got a little bit of a tournament in. I think overall, I think you had like 8 games. Um,
Mhm.
talk to us a little bit about what you've been doing since you've you've been on suspension and haven't had the games because of the COVID-19.
Well, I hope we continue the season. So I've just been working out every day and hitting a lot to try and just keep up my training and to for us to hopefully continue the season on. So
All right, that's a lot to take in, and I know that it's tough being your senior season as well.
hmm
And I think if I remember right, you moved here from another place and just started this year. Is that correct?
yeah, I did. So I moved from Springville. I played my
Okay.
first 2 years at when I was a freshman and sophomore, I played at Springville, and then when I was a junior, I was cut. So, and then in October of last year, my family moved to Mapleton. So I just decided, well, I can transfer to Maple Mountain and legally play because of
Hmm.
my family moved. So I just
Yeah,
decided to do that and hoped I'd make the team, and I did, and it's been great. So
that's awesome. And I know from a few of the first games that I was there taking pictures, I saw that you got up on at bat quite a few times and
mhm.
got some playing time. So that's a pretty good deal. Um,
Yeah.
so talk to me a little bit about what you do to get rid of butterflies and kind of the nerves of the game. What techniques do you use?
For me, the butterflies don't really hit me like before the game. They don't. I don't get them like right before the game. It's usually right before I go up to bat or something, or in the field. I just usually just take a big deep breath and then just like envision myself completing the task or getting a hit, and um, yeah, it usually works. So
And
to
that
get
goes
rid of
back
them.
to you practice a lot, you spend a lot of time, whether it's batting or throwing or catching, and it's kind of that opportunity for you to realize, hey, I've been there, I've done that, and visualize the success.
Yeah.
So that's great. What do your teammates do to kind of help during practice time that kind of makes practices fun? What types of things do you guys do?
Um, I think we do lots of competitions during practice and competing against each other, and it's fun to compete and just try and beat your teammates. But when it comes to games, I think we play really well together as a team, and so I think it's fun to play when you play well as a team. So
Okay. And it did show quite a bit in the
yeah.
preseason games. You guys played really well, and I know even down in St. George when I wasn't there, wasn't able to see some of those games, but you had some pretty good outcomes in most of the games. There were a couple that you were playing some pretty tough teams and struggled a little bit, but that's why you do preseason.
Yep.
Um, so, if you had to tell me who your favorite sports hero is, whether it's college, professional, high school, anything, what would you say? Who would you say that person is and why?
My favorite would be Chipper Jones because my family grew up Braves fans, and so I've watched him all my life, and I've wanted to be like him. So I just love watching him and watching him play the game, and that's why he's my favorite.
That's great. Appreciate that. And so throughout your career playing ball, when did you start playing baseball?
Well, I started um, playing t-ball probably at age 4,
Okay.
but when I actually started playing baseball was around age 8.
Okay.
So
That's great. And you did a lot of city league or club league type play?
yeah, I did a lot of both.
Okay.
So I did both. Yeah.
Great. So one of the other questions we've been asking a lot of the athletes is, what is your favorite sports themed movie and why?
Um, I would say The Sandlot because
Oh,
that one, I don't know, it just never gets old, and it's just it, it just pictures the love of the game, and that's why I love it. So
yeah, that's one of my favorites from a movie. There's a lot of great scenes in that, and in fact, I think it was just the anniversary of I think it's
yeah,
like 20 something years. I don't remember the number, but it's been a long time, and it still is just as interesting to watch now as it
yeah.
was when it first came out. Um, so, in all the places that you've played, where is your favorite venue that you've played?
Um, I would say I love playing here at Maple Mountain. Um, it's been my favorite. I love playing with this team and this program, and I wish I could have done it a lot more than just this year. So
Yeah, and I know Coach Miners put a lot of effort and blood, sweat, and tears into that field. It's really a nice field for you know based on a lot of the fields around. So that's a fun place to play, definitely. Um, what are your thoughts about um, if we were to get an extension for the season and things kind of normalize a little bit? What are your thoughts about being able to have an opportunity to play at least a few more games before the end of the school year?
I think it would be great just to get some more games in and some more playing time, and um, I just I think it would be great just doing starting the season in May and then extending it a couple weeks into June, and I'd be totally fine with that. I'd love getting some more games in to finish out the year. So yeah, I
Yeah,
would
and
like
that's
that.
that's especially tough being a senior, and
Yeah,
getting that opportunity to kind of play the last few times and even potentially have a senior night. Um, what would you, speaking of being a senior and all, what words of wisdom would you have or advice for your fellow teammates?
um, that's a tough one. Um, I would say during this time that we're not playing baseball, just to keep working hard and to stay positive because hopefully we get some second half of the season. So, yeah, just to keep working hard. And so,
All right. And one of the last questions I have here is what what would you what would you say is your favorite memory from playing baseball?
um, I would say I have a couple. I think right now is, or not right now, but this year has been great. I've loved playing this year for this team. And another one is when I was probably 13 or 14. We played in this tournament and we played 5 games in one day and we won it. And that was just one that sticks out to me as one of my favorites because it was so fun. So
That's great. Thanks. And one of the other questions I have is what are your plans post high school? Being a senior and all, this is kind of the end of this phase and chapter in your life. What are you looking forward to doing after this?
I think I'm gonna go on a mission after high school, and then I want to come back and go to college. I'm not sure if that entails college baseball, but if it does, great. But if not, I think I'll be it'll be good. But I'm excited to see what else. I'm not sure what else after that. So, yep.
That's great. Well, we want to thank you, Kayson, especially just barely getting you contacted to join us and talk to you. We really appreciate that. I've had a lot of fun talking to all the different athletes, and we felt like this is kind of a way that we can at least try to give some recognition to some of our senior athletes and give them a little bit of spotlight and talk about them a little bit. And so again, thank you for joining us today.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks for the chance to talk, and yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, this is your host, Jeff Porcaro, and this has been another great episode talking to some of our student athletes. We'd like to remind you to go ahead and check us out on our social media sites. We have Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. All are Maple Mountain Sports. And we have Maple MTN Sports is our Twitter. And we'd like you to go out and make sure that you follow along and follow us, like us, subscribe to the YouTube channel as we get more opportunities for play, whether it's the end of this year or the beginning of next. We'll be live streaming a lot more of the games and doing more and more of these types of interviews. And so I appreciate you taking the time and joining with me. And this is the Eagle's Nest.